I've wasted way too much of the prime time of my life on just binging videos, turning my brain off. Hey brother, I'm Ethan, and after binging self-improvement content for over 6 years now, and only making like 1-2 years of tangible, real progress in that time, I made this channel to help other young men in the self-improvement depression stage of knowing everything you should be doing, but you just can't take consistent action for whatever reason. And I'm documenting my journey of solving this thing, because I'm still in the middle of it too. And together, we want to mature past this self-improvement depression stage and become men of action who can decide what we need to do. And we can trust ourselves to take consistent action on this thing without getting distracted or losing motivation, whatever, along the way. If that sounds useful to you, which it really will by the end of this video, then I highly advise you to subscribe to save yourself up to 6 years of pain and self-hatred and bad habits. I've had this feeling since I was 16 or 17 years old, let's say, where I knew something was wrong with the fact that at the end of a high school day, I would go home and just binge video games, YouTube, anime, etc. for the entirety of like 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday. I wouldn't do any of the homework, and I would just go home so that I could indulge in instant gratification. I knew something was weird because all of my friends would actually go and hang out and do things. Go get pizza, go watch a movie, whatever after school, right? Whereas me, the most socializing I would do is I would go home and just binge Call of Duty or whatever at the time with the boys. But most of the time, all of the socialization I did was just parasocializing with like PewDiePie and other video game Let's Players when I got home. And so I've had this wonder in the back of my mind since being like 16, let's say, of what would happen to my entire life if I just didn't watch YouTube videos for 30 days in a row. It's taken me so many years to actually try doing this, because each time that thought would pop into my mind, I would think, oh, but my older self, my future self, he's gonna figure this out. One day when he's in his 20s, he's gonna snap to reality and realize he has to take life seriously. And so this was an extremely long-term, self-destructive procrastination, essentially, to fix my entire fucking life. And every time I did it, it didn't seem as sinister in the moment as it truly really is. For years, I've been stacking up this procrastination on like fixing my life by doing the things that I know I should. And the scary thing is, I work a real job. I work a real 9-to-5 job now, and I've got coworkers, and even them in their 40s and 50s admit to me in just random conversations that they spend way too much time wasted on instant gratification, whether that's watching TV, watching sports, watching the news, whatever it is. They just waste too much of their time. And it's scaring me because I already think, I'm 24. I've wasted way too much of the prime time of my life on just binging videos, turning my brain off and binging instant gratification. And I've been relying on like an older version of myself to eventually stop this terrible behavior. But no, man. There's people who, like I mentioned, they're 40, 50 years old and they still have this exact same bad habit that I do. So there's no like age you become where the wisdom finally strikes and you finally have a divine intervention and you stop binging instant gratification. It's not coming. And that fear itself is part of the many tools I'm using to keep myself consistent on this life-changing dopamine detox. But it is hard. This past Sunday, I used a very strict website blocker thing, application, whatever, to keep myself from using any of my traditional instant gratifications on this past Sunday, right? Like I wasn't watching any YouTube videos, any anime, anything. And then you're not gonna believe this, but from going cold turkey that Sunday, I followed with a Monday to Saturday of an average of 8 hours of screen time. And I also skipped going to the gym 2 times. So that week was terrible because I was rebounding on going cold turkey on the Sunday for my addiction to instant gratification. Again, just a reminder, this video is meant to scare you into taking the life-changing dopamine detox seriously today, not relying on some older, more mature, more wise version of yourself to take this seriously. Because every day that you delay and you stop taking it so seriously is not only a day, it's more likely a couple years, because you're reinforcing the same negative, evil, toxic loop habit of delaying when you're gonna take your life seriously. And every time you do this, it makes the loop stronger. I've been doing this for 10 years by now, 14 to 24 years old, where I'll have the thought that I need to take this instant gratification addiction seriously, but then that thought only lasts like 3 days before I give up since it's so difficult. And I can confidently tell you I've had this loop of trying a dopamine detox and failing like over 4 times now. Those were 4 times where I've seriously said, okay, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. This time is different. You know, that whole cringy, it's cliche phrase that we all say, this time is different, and then it's not different at all. I've had 4 of those, and it's very demoralizing. Your options really, once you've had so many of these demoralizing events, is either you give up for good or you keep fucking fighting. And I'm gonna keep fucking fighting. I'm gonna save my life with the life-changing dopamine detox, and I want you to too. The reason this is the main focus of my life right now is because any other goals I set are hindered by the addiction to instant gratification. If I set a 30-minute reading goal per day, I can't stick to it consistently for like a month at a time without getting derailed by my terrible habits. You know, I can't go to the gym consistently 4 days a week for 4 weeks in a row if the slightest trigger causes me to want to be lazy and just lie down on my bed and watch videos for hours, right? The only time I've been able to stick to good habits consistently for a long period of time of say 6 months or more was during that breakup phase of my first relationship that I've talked about before on the channel when I was 19 and first getting into self-improvement. But to do that, I needed the fuel of, fuck that bitch, I'm gonna make sure no woman ever treats me that way again, you know? I'm gonna self-improve and I'm gonna become a high-value man, you know? And that deep level of motivation doesn't come around every day, right? You get that maybe a couple times in your life where you're like, I'm gonna make a change, like... Especially given all the millions of different ways in the modern era that we have to placate ourselves and numb ourselves to our anger and just return back to this like little ball of sludge who just consumes content all day. And I've learned in all these years of trial and error that indulging in instant gratification through whatever channel you choose, it isn't as simple as, oh, I'm feeling lazy, I'm just gonna veg out and, you know, watch some videos, whatever. It's more sinister than that. You know, when you decide to indulge in instant gratification, you're deciding not to take your life seriously. You're deciding to avoid the possibility of failure from trying really hard at something and having to learn. Maybe you're inadequate in some way. You know, maybe you're not this perfect little participation trophy earning, you know, genius. Especially for my generation, like the Zoomers, that's a very scary realization. You and I both need to take this addiction to instant gratification as seriously as it truly is. Because if we don't, then we're constantly just going to be interested in it, but not interested enough to make life-changing, consistent actions to change this. And this self-improvement depression stage that we're in, of knowing everything you should be doing but not being able to take consistent action to change it for whatever reason, truly feels like hell on earth after you spend over a year in this phase. And there is nothing more important to me, and I hope for you as well, as evolving past this phase and seeing what more life has to offer. So if you want to take your instant gratification addiction more seriously with me, because look, I'm still basically in the middle of it, but I'm in that phase where I can feel it. I'm making a difference, I'm making a change. I am going to evolve past this phase. And if you want to watch that happen and learn the lessons alongside me, I highly encourage you to subscribe. Hit the bell notification so I stay on your ass consistently, and read the description to get your dopamine detox mission today. Make sure to watch this video if you haven't already, and I'll see you in that next video.